Okay, so I stopped at privileged access management. That's the keys to the kingdom. Then let's see. Next, I would go to identity and access management. Identity and access management are your roles to user accounts, onboarding users. So when someone new comes to the company, they get created a new user account. Identity and access management are the people that create those accounts, and give them their permissions. So again, that's a really high-paying position if you fose on that area. Then there's virtualization, working with VMs, containerization. I talked about those two in my lab environment videos. Virtualization or virtual machines, containers like containerization like Docker and Kubernetes. They're creating VMs that run inside containers. Then there's disaster recovery. Disaster recovery is like your backup, your recovery plan in case something happens. What if there's a natural disaster and the whole network comes down? There's cloud computing and cloud security. So your AWS, your GCP, Google Cloud, your Azure, Microsoft Azure. These are all cloud platforms that it's something you could focus on, by itself, and they're high paying positions as well. Each one of these that I'm listing, these are all areas that you can focus on in cybersecurity. You can either learn them because you're curious, or if you want to focus on that specific area, those are good areas to move into. Let's see, after that, threat intelligence. Threat intelligence is gathering information on the cyber attackers. So hackers, you're the threat intelligence, you're the person that provides information about the attacks that are coming in. It's a really interesting job. Governance, risk, and compliance. This is one that I see a lot pushed on TikTok. GRC, governance, risk, and compliance, is governance is a set of rules, and there's many of them. There's HIPAA for health insurance or health information. PCI, payment card industry. So PCI, any company that stores credit card information falls under PCI compliance. If you're a health care provider, you store somebody's health information, personal information for reasons of health insurance or whatever. That's under HIPAA. Okay, what that means is they have governance rules. They're very stringent rules that your systems have to abide by. So if you work in governance, you would basically be auditing the network all the time, and you basically check to see whether or not these systems adhere to these rules. And if you find that they don't, then you have to notify the group that manages them, make changes to the point to where they're in compliance with those rules, and then you go back and audit them again. It can be a really boring job, but it can be also really high paying. It kind of depends on the organization. But it's also one of those areas that I've seen people on TikTok say that you don't need to know cybersecurity to do that. I beg to differ, because you have to understand what you're talking about when you're performing these audits. So that's governance and compliance of GRC. Then there's risk. So risk is whenever there are threats, possible threats and possible vulnerabilities to your network where an attacker could theoretically attack and do something and get in basically to your network and compromise it. As a network security or cybersecurity engineer, you don't really make the choices, but your CISO does. They have to decide whether to accept that risk or fix it to where it's no longer a risk, to where the attacker can break into your network. Accepting risk is when you say, I know that's a problem, but I'm going to ignore it right now. So that's, it can be a bad thing, it can be a good thing. The level of risk that you accept is generally based on money, essentially. Does it cost more to secure this risk than not? Okay? So that's governance, risk, and compliance. And I'm getting long-winded again, so I'll make another video.